Hello! To those of you who don't know me, welcome. My name is Shelly. I arrive occasionally on YouTube. I like to do this every week, but for me, my daily life is more important than making videos, but I do like to share with you what I have been doing because people ask me so often, what are you making? What are you producing? It is the end of January, and that means I'm finishing up knitting projects and getting ready to get back to sewing. The reason I don't knit all year round is because I live in Southern California. I grew up in the Northwest, but living in Southern California, and even when I lived in Hawaii, almost impossible to knit, just too hot. I don't like knitting with cotton as much. I like knitting with wool, so I save it for our cold weather months, which for those of you in the Pacific Northwest, I'll let you have this moment to laugh. Go right ahead, I know. But I will show you a couple things I finished. And the jury's out on a couple of these things. So I did finish this little cap. I was trying out some variegated yarn that I got at Hands-On Knitting Center when I was at the Fiber Fair a few months ago. I love this. Isn't that just gorgeous? All these lovely, creamy, rainbowy colors. But I tried this little hat pattern. I was thinking about the French witches' hats in the Wizarding World and how they kind of went off to the side and had that little point. And I found this pattern that had the point at the top. And it's a very unfortunate little point, if you know what I mean. I'm not a fan. So I'm going to actually undo this and attach a tassel, a long tassel, because I think that would be cute, but not the way it is. So we're just going to pretend that's not there. But I love this yarn. It's so great. In its caked form, it's just so squishy. I will link below what it is. It's a Peruvian wool. And then I was working on an idea that I'm almost done with using the same kind of wool. This is in a darker version, still variegated, which I love. And the idea was a sweater, which actually this could fit a small man or woman, really, or it could fit a child. But I made it long because the idea was it would fit a smaller person. And I did do a 2x2 ribbing on the bottom just to give it some stretch and shape. But around the armholes and the neck, I'm just going to use an Icelandic bind off. I might do a video showing you how that's done. Just not going to do it right now. But the idea is that this is knit in the round all the way up until the armpits. Then you separate and you do the front and the back separately. But the key that's so interesting, which I'm sure I haven't invented this, but I just thought it was interesting, was that you're only ever going to knit except for the ribbing. That's the only time you're going to purl. Otherwise, you're knitting all the way around, and then you're doing a garter stitch, which is just knitting, knitting, knitting. And then you get to the top and connect it. I used a Kitchener stitch to connect it just because I like to do it that way. So that's the idea. And once I get this all squared away, I will write up the pattern. And I might even make one larger this way and shorter. Just see what that looks like. Anyway, that's the idea. I like playing like that. And what's the worst that could happen? I could rip it out, right? The other thing the other thing I was doing, and this is what I'm most excited about. I was at Road to California in Ontario, California, and I took a mending class, and I'm going to link to it below because I can't say enough about this instructor. But this is what I did. So this was my first patch. See, I tucked under the edges. And you can see the purple, that's just a marking pen, purple marking. I was just playing with the idea of going around in a spiral. You know how I'm about spirals. We'll be talking about that more as I get back into piecing and quilting season, I'm going to actually show you how I do my version of a quilt in the round. And then this is my second one where I tucked under the raw edge and we've stitched around it, and then I did this really common star pattern. I like that. That's my favorite. And then I thought I want to keep doing it, so I just took a piece of fabric and I went on the seam and I stitched up and down to attach it, so the edges, the raw edges, will just fray. I'm going to stick this in the washing machine to take the marking off. And you know, these are just Crayola markers, the washable Crayola markers, nothing fancy. I liked that because it's just so much easier, and you can get those anywhere, light colors, dark colors. Then I did a naughty thing. I know my goal was not to buy any more fabric or yarn this year, and it still is, but I could not resist. And again, I will link all the places in the description below, who I took the class from, more information about Road to California, where I got the, what I want to say, the fabric from that I'm going to show you right now. I got some Japanese yarn dyed fabric. Now first, I'm going to show you this first. This is just very typical. Now usually you get it in a blue, but I saw these that didn't have any in blue, in half yard pieces, and I wanted to get enough that I could really do something substantial. What I'm going to do, I'm not sure, but I'm actually thinking of finding a secondhand, not short jeans jacket, but a longer jeans jacket that was really common in the 90s, and start doing Boro sashiko on it and using that fabric. Then the other thing I found, which of course, you know I couldn't resist, is this. Kitty cat sewing and little mice running away. I got it in that color, and I also got it in this great soft blue. I love it. Again, what am I going to do? I don't know. I'm thinking I might cut the cat into a panel and maybe the little mice into smaller panels and use them in something quilted. I don't know. I might even use those on the Boro Sashiko idea. And that would just be a very long-term project, something that I would spend a while doing. Now, this is what's happening as we come to the end of January, probably starting in February, because I am finishing up a couple of other projects too. So what I did the other night while I was watching PBS is I cut up some fabric. Now these are all pieces from quilts that I've already made, bags that I've already made, and I had a whole bunch of zippers, different colored zippers, and I will link where I got those from. And I'm sorry I don't mention where I get these things from during the video. It's just that my, brain that's been disrupted by a car wreck doesn't remember things like that. So I will go into the description and be very thorough, I promise. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some project pouches, and these will be on my Etsy site, which I am finally opening. And I've just done a variety of things. I've taken all sorts of the fabrics, I've cut them into pieces. I'm going to do patchwork on the outside and linings. I love these owls. I actually have somebody I'm going to give this one to, and that's going to be a surprise. She probably won't see this, so she won't know it's coming. And just all sorts of different fabric I found, and I put them together in sets so that I can make at least one, if not several, pouches out of them. So like I said, they are going to be patchworked. You probably recognize this if you saw any of my travel bags. Patchworked, and then lined. One complete fabric line. So I'm going to work on those probably as soon as February starts. Not right this minute, but as soon as February starts. That is what I have going on. I also have a bunch of these totes that I made. They look really familiar, I'm sure, because they look a lot like that particular grocery store that sells really cheap ones. Mine are a lot more substantial. They are lined. You can see this one is lined. This is my own, so you can't have it. They are lined, and there is interfacing, so they're much more substantial. Oh, my thing's rattling around in there. They're much more substantial, I think. And this is also stamped with my logo. So I'll have those too. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about something that's coming up in the next few minutes that I have left. I am going to pivot a little bit on my creativity. Now, I'm going a little bit back to something I used to do and that I didn't walk away from, but I kind of set aside to focus on fiber arts. But I am going to re-release some of my floral photo art greeting cards. Those will be up on my Etsy site by next week. And then the other thing I'm doing, because I'm always inspired by my cat Oscar, my harlequin, black and white harlequin Oscar. He's always getting into mischief. He's always walking over my keyboard, running away with my yarn. But he is definitely a big part of my life. And so in honor of him, I am starting a line of, I don't want to say paper goods because it's not all paper, but they're inspired by him. Oscar the lucky cat. Because when he is sitting there looking at you, he looks like a lucky cat. And those items will be in my Etsy store as well. They will include stickers and some greeting cards. Now, the fun thing about the greeting cards, the inaugural greeting card, is that it's for Valentine's Day. But the cool thing about it is you can color it yourself, which I think is kind of cool. So you could get the card and you could color it, write a note in it, and give it to your Valentine. Or you could give it to your Valentine and let them color it and enjoy coloring it the way they would like. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with that. I think when you want to encourage creativity, you need to give somebody something that they can work with. And I think that's something that people could work with. So we'll see. The first one is going to be just line art, and it's a Valentine Oscar the Lucky Cat. We'll see how that goes. As the time goes forward, I will have some full color cards, and the first full color one will actually be for Chinese New Year, or Lunar New Year, as we like to call it. It's probably more correct to call it the Lunar New Year. And he is in his full Oscar the Lucky Cat pose with all the accoutrements. So that will be the first full color holiday card. And then as the year progresses, we'll have some more. I'm particularly excited about May Day. So if you know, you know. Meaning the fact that I used to live in Hawaii, and May Day is very near and dear to my heart. So if you know that, you can probably piece together what that particular card's going to be. So I will leave you with that. Next time you see me, I will probably have some of those pouches done, and I will show you how I'm going to do that Icelandic bind off for the neck of that sweater. And as soon as I have that pattern, I will have it available to you. So I look forward to talking to you soon. I should say talking at you, because I'm not really talking. I guess I'm talking to you. Yeah, anyway. Have a great rest of the week. If it's sunny where you are, enjoy the sunshine. If it's not sunny, stay warm. And my final message is, no matter what, Stay the course. Stay the course. Hold your loved ones close. Follow your heart and stay the course. Until next time.